China, with a $400 billion Iran deal, could deepen influence in the Middle East. New York Times story. The countries have signed a sweeping pact that calls for heavy Chinese investment in Iran for 25 years in exchange for oil, step that could ease Iran's international isolation. China agreed to invest $400 billion in Iran over 25 years in exchange for a steady supply of oil to fuel its growing economy. The deal could deepen China's influence in the Middle East and undercut American efforts to keep Iran isolated. $400 billion of Chinese investment are to be made in dozens of fields, including banking, telecommunication, port, railways, healthcare, and information technology. Over the next 25 years, in exchange, China would receive a regular and heavily discounted supply of Iranian oil. The deal also called for deepening military cooperation, including joint training and exercises, joint research and weapon development, intelligence sharing. Keyword, and intelligence sharing. Intelligence sharing. And Iran has a lot of intelligence. And this whole thing is going on while Iran still has sanctions. U.S. still has sanctions against Iran that was imposed by Trump, and they're still saying, America, we're not worried about you. We're still going to do this $400 billion deal with China. What do you think about that?
Dude, this is scary as hell. This should be...
This scares you?
This is
You don't think
scary.
about going to Iran for vacation like I'm going to go to Tehran with Adrian?
I'm good. I'm good on going to Iran. I'm good on going and spending any money in China. This is incredibly scary stuff anytime that China and Iran are talking about this kind of stuff. You know, this is the lead story in the Wall Street Journal today. The lead story... China's message to America, we're an equal now. This is the lead story in the Wall Street Journal. So the times of...
Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
We're an equal now, Wall Street Journal. Go ahead, keep going.
I sent it to you on Slack, I believe, Kai. I don't know if that's... I don't know if you can get on the Wall Street Journal right there, but...
Keep going. Just go back and type that into search.
Yeah.
We're an equal now. Go
we're
ahead,
equal
Adam.
now, and I sent you it on Slack if you need to see that. But look, you know, it's something that definitely I was aware of before I came to Valuetainment a year ago, and now that I'm acutely aware of is China standing in the world. They are coming, here it is right here. They are coming after America, and they are coming for the top spot. And, you know, their whole message here to America when they sat down and they had this meeting is essentially like, look what the hell's going on in your country. You guys are freaking divided. You're racially divided. You're socially divided. You're politically divided. We're unified. Yeah, nobody can say shit because if they do, they'll get Jack Mod. But that guy right there, pull him up. He basically took, I think, 16 minutes. Scroll down, Kai, you'll see it. He basically lambasted.
China, let me read that. China can Kai, just go to exact. Yeah, China can already look at the world on equal level. He told the annual legislative sessions in Beijing in early March, a remark widely interpreted in Chinese media as a declaration that China no longer looks up to the U.S. The U.S. routinely describes China as a strategic rival, but Beijing has rarely, if ever, used such terms, emphasizing terms like win-win and cooperation. One of the more obvious changes in Chinese attitude is that China now recognizes the existence of competition, which was never expressed in the past, says Wang, an advisor to China's State Council and President Xi. Very interesting. Very interesting.
And then they say, Kai, can you just, I think it's maybe one sentence up or one sentence down. That was very intriguing. This part right here.
Competitive leadership. Mr. Yang's warning in Alaska on Taiwan's reunification is an ominous inkling of how competitive relations between the world powers and could lead to conflict. The U.S. is committed to helping Taiwan preserve its autonomy under pledges, including the 1979 Taiwan Relations Act, and the Biden team trumpets its plan to strengthen economic and political links to Taipei. Mr. Xi has made a reunification with Taiwan, which Beijing regards as a breakaway province, a big part of his China dream of national rival. Chinese Foreign Ministry says Mr. Yang's Anchorage warning. The Chinese side pointed out that the Taiwan issues related to China's sovereignty and territorial integrity and China's core interest. It has. There is no room for compromise.
Kai, go to the just top sentence. I believe it may have been the first sentence. They said something to the effect of the kind of dialogue. Basically, what I read...
Beijing wanted to restore the kind of occurring dialogue Washington sees as a waste of time, says U.S. and Chinese officials briefed on the Alaska meeting. What point are you trying to make, Adam?
He wanted to challenging over a bit. Basically, it essentially just sort of gave an overview of their perspectives. As for years, they just said, stay quiet.
Keep it up, Kai.
They said, stay quiet.
Yeah.
Don't, rock the boat a little bit. Sort of their 2030 plan that they've been planning, and now that's getting exacerbated because of the pandemic and everything that's happened, and are printing our money. And look, message to Americans, message to my fellow Americans here. That's enemy number one, okay? that if you're a Democrat, it's not the Republican. If you're a Republican, it's not the Democrat. You know, I had a conversation with our friend Ricky the other day, and I assume a lot of people feel this way. I asked him, who do you like more? Who do you like more? Joe Biden or Vladimir Putin? And he goes, oh, Putin. Not even freaking close. I go, hold on. You're telling me that you like Putin better than Biden? An American president.
What does like mean? Define like.
Meaning like who you respect more, who you like more.
Respect like who has more power, who's smarter, who's wiser, who's better strategic?
Fill in the blank. American president, Russian president. Who do you sympathize with more?
That's a different question.
That's my question.
Yeah.
But my point is, a lot of people, and there's interviews like this all over, where people would say, I'm more into Putin. I don't know the correct word here, but I more sympathize with Putin.
I don't think
more.
people say that. You
I
have to
think
be
people
careful.
do.
I think you got to choose your words carefully when you say this, because this is a very important topic. I think people think Putin is stronger and a better leader than Biden, but people don't sit there and say, I hope Putin succeeds. You think American people say, I hope Putin succeeds?
I think there's a segment of the Republican wing that does think that.
You are out of your mind.
And I also think there's a segment.
You cannot just have said this.
Listen, I'm also going to say this. I think there's a segment of the Democratic Party that looks at Trump as a worse person than Putin or even Xi. And that's ultimately my point, is fellow Americans are not your enemies. No, I do know about that.
No, I don't.
I think that people actually think that.
You cannot. You mean to tell me American people, Republican or Democrat or Independent, are rooting for Putin to win over Biden?
Let me use this word
Go ahead.
correctly.
Let's hear it.
I think that many Americans, Democrats specifically, hate Trump more than they hate Putin or Xi. And I think conversely, I think a lot of Republicans hate Biden or Hillary Clinton more than they do Putin or Xi.
That's different than wanting Putin to succeed. That's different than wanting Xi to succeed.
I would hope so, but
no. That's different than wanting. Listen,
pull our audience.
But say that. Say what you just said. Okay, let's say that exists.
Yes.
Tell me what percentage of America is actually the person you just described. What percentage of America is actually?
If it's 1%,
that's
too many.
If
it's 1%, it's too many.
Stop
I would say 10% on both sides.
No, it's probably 1%.
10% on both sides.
It's probably 1% that says that, but that 1% is so loud that they make you think it's 20%. That's the problem with these guys. Sometimes the complainers are so loud, it convinces the world that they have so many people following them. They don't. It's No, it's not hope so. It's not.
Well, ultimately, my point is this.
How many people in the street? How many people out there in the streets? Okay, 100 people you run into. How many of them are willing to rob your car right now and take your money from you? Out of 100 people.
One.
Oh, so what are you gonna? You're gonna judge the other 99 to 1? Come on, man. I don't think we can do that. But to say they're fine. By the way, do you see the conflict that's going on right now with Russia and Ukraine? Are you kind of following that?
Yeah, over Crimea and all that.
Yeah. So U.S. is, with the hopes of, hey, if we support Ukraine, what could happen with Russia and Russia gets involved?
Mm-hmm.
Russia, by the way, just so everybody knows, Russia right now. So does U.S. But Russia right now has nuclear bombs targeted to every major city in America that can get here within 30 minutes. Just so you know that. 30 minutes, it's here.
We also have the same.
We have it as well.
So does NATO, everything over there, yeah.
So do we, so do they, but they got it within 30 minutes. It's a very...
is that new? I mean, that's been going on for
It's not about it's
decades.
New, but Ukraine and Russia, look at China and Taiwan. How sensitive is that to China?
Extremely sensitive. That's like number one
How
over there.
sensitive is Ukraine, Russia to Russia?
Extremely sensitive.
How sensitive is Iran, U.S. with what China just did?
Yes.
Extremely sensitive. You know what is happening? People are disregarding the level of sensitivity today. So China's saying, oh, okay, U.S., you're supporting this, no problem. I'm going to support Iran. By the way, Iran, the people of Iran have no idea what this means. There's a couple things you have to think about with Iran, okay? I haven't even come to you. I'm sorry. Go ahead if you want. No. So a couple things about Iran. So you have to know one part of Iran is sitting here saying what? Okay, so now we have China that's backing us up and giving us $400 billion over how many years? 25 years. So China essentially owns Iran for 25 years.
And Africa, by the way. Just a little PS, throw Africa in there.
And Africa. Okay, Kai, I sent you two links that if you can pull up. One of them was a couple things I just want you to look at, okay? One of them was go up a little bit. This is U.S. allies. Go a little lower. Okay, And then go to natural resources, which is a link prior to that I sent you. 10 countries with the most natural resources, okay? Close it up, close it up, close it up. Go back to another link. I don't want them to see it. I don't want them to see it. Can you tell me what country, number one, has the most natural resources? Did you see it or no? Did you see it or no?
I didn't see it.
Did you see what country in the world has the most natural resources?
No. Is it the
If
United
you're
States
watching
or no?
this right now, what country in the world do you think has the most natural resources? What country? I want you to actually comment. What country in the world do you think has the most natural resources? It's around $24 trillion, $23.6 trillion.
And it's not the United States?
I want you to guess it. It's okay if you want to guess it. What country do you say? Kai, did you see it or no? You know it? Sam, did you see it? What country think in the world? Just throw it out there.
I'm guessing it's either the USA or frickin' China.
Okay, US or China. What are you going to say? Natural resources.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of countries in the Middle East that you think about, right?
They're not on my list.
Okay, so let's check this out. A lot of people are saying Russia, Venezuela, it's on the list. China, Sweden, Russia, Congo, Iran, Venezuela, all these other things. Okay.
I'm going with China here.
Go to the list now. Go to the list now. Go up, go up, go up. Like keep going down is what I mean. Okay, 10 is Australia. Okay. 9 is Congo. Good call, by the way. Somebody said Congo. 8 is Venezuela. $14.3 trillion worth of natural resources. United States is 7th. Okay, keep going lower. Keep going lower. Brazil, 6th. $21.8 trillion, including gold, iron, oil, and uranium. Keep going lower. 5 is Russia, $75 trillion, but they're 5. Whoa. 4 is India, which they're going to compete. And India is a U.S. ally, which is good news. Okay, keep going. 3 is Canada. It's a little concerning with Canada, okay, because Canada's got a better relationship now with China than they do with U.S. You'll see here in a minute. I'll show it to you. Go to number 2, Saudi Arabia, obviously. And number 1, the most natural resources, China. China tops the list for having the most natural resources, estimated to be worth $23 trillion. 90% of China's resources are coal and rare earth metals. However, timber is another major natural resource on China producer, and coal, gold, graphite, lead, the list goes on, right? Okay, so now go to the other link that I sent you to see what allies. This is many see U.S. as their top ally. I wanted to find out what countries see U.S. as their top ally.
Wow.
Israel's 82, but look at China because this is a very important thing to look at comparing. Do me a favor, flip the screen, make this the bigger screen, us the smaller screen, Sam, if you can do that. Flip us so they're seeing this more than they're seeing us. Israel, 82% U.S., 1% China.
So
2%
break
Russia,
this down just before you.
Meaning,
yes,
82% Israel is a better ally with U.S. than they are with China.
This is U.S. versus China.
U.S., China, and other countries. So whatever their other country, it would be notable. South Korea, we're number 1. Look at where China is, 4%. This is good, okay? Philippines. By the way, look at China. Who else is 4%? North Korea.
Is that and the other country named is that ally? Or that's,
most named country that people would make that in this argument.
Gotcha.
Philippines 64%, China's 9%, not even close. Japan 63. Look at China, 1. This is good for U.S. Canada 46. I'm sorry, Canada was, which one's the one that I said Canada with China? Okay, Canada wasn't the one with China. It was another one I was. No, it was another one I was making a comparison to, which we'll get to. You'll see where I'm going to go here with one of them. Okay, so Canada 46, 2, UK 14, Australia 38, China 6. Australia's neighbors with China, still 6. Kenya 35, China 30. Brazil 32 to the U.S., 8 to China. Nigeria 27-22, which you mentioned earlier. Mexico, look at Mexico, interesting.
Scary.
27 and 16. South Africa 24 and 19. India 21 and 3, meaning 21 is U.S. Indonesia 16-6. Argentina 15-5. Lebanon, Tunisia. Look at Turkey. That's my concern. That is my concern. Is Turkey. And you'll see where I'm going with this. Go a little lower, go a little lower, go lower, 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 go lower, go lower. I think there was one other chart here. And then across different countries, both the U.S. and China emerge as key threats.
Look at Mexico.
Mexico, you got it. Percentage who say such and such country or group that poses greatest threat to their country. Okay. Mexico, U.S., Turkey, U.S., Argentina, U.S., Canada. You see how that works out. Okay, Canada, that's the one I was talking about, where China is ahead with Canada as a threat. You see where that is? But it's equal number. Here's the point. When you see this here and you see what Iran's doing with, China's doing with Iran, right? There's a couple things. There's a couple things that we are not paying very close attention to. Here's one of them. You have to know that if you can flip the screen now, I don't know if, you weren't able to do it?
Look at the last one, by the way.
U.S.
3% of the U.S. think we are our own
allies.
biggest enemy.
But here's the part you have to think about.
China
if you can,
and Russia.
You can close it up, Kai, and just bring it to me so we can get everyone's attention. So here's the part. The challenge we
We're
have
at 3,000, by the way.
The challenge we have now in the U.S. is the following. In China is the following. What people don't realize is those extremists in Iran, who are the loudest people in the world? The 99% or the 1%?
The 1%.
The 1%.
The people on the way left or the way
they're
right.
yelling to their constituents.
How many extremists does Iran have?
Low number.
They have a good number.
Yes.
But meaning they have them. They have extremists. Okay. And they're sitting there saying, wait a minute. So imagine like the AOC of Iran, who's a super extremist, religious leader,
Well, they'd be all the way
vocal,
to the right.
all the way, I'm not going to say left or right, all I'm saying, extreme religious, that they're going to sit there and say, wait a minute, Iran, why are we doing a deal with China? Isn't China persecuting Uyghurs? Isn't China, Muslims? Have you seen what China is doing to Muslims? Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me money is now more important than our profit?
Good
And
point.
are you telling me that that's more important? Oh, okay. Okay, see what we're going to do to you now. So what China doesn't realize they're about to experience is the following. See, folks, I lived in Iran. When I lived in Iran for 10 years,
point.
you know who was Iran's number one enemy? U.S. You know why? Because the extremist in Iran would say, hey, Shah, why are you lining up with U.S.? Look what they're doing to our daughters. They're making our daughters not wear clothes and not wear, what do you call it?
The hijab.
They're no longer conservative. They're not wearing the hijab. You are making us westernized, and we hate you for it. What happened? They eventually kicked them out, okay? The extremists in Iran right now are saying, why are we lining up with somebody that doesn't like our religion? Why are we lining up with somebody that sits there and tells the Muslims of China to go out there in front of camera so they can track them and see exactly where they're going? Why are we not? Why are you teaming up with them? So we are not going to see the side effects of this for at least 5 to 10 years. Okay,
Wow.
I don't think you're going to see the side effects of this for 6 months, 12 months. Everybody's celebrating right now. Oh, we got this. On the other hand, why is this deal taking place 4 months after Trump's not in office anymore? Why are they doing this deal 3 months after Trump's? What is the date? January 21st, whatever the date is. What's the last day Trump was in office? Is
20th.
it the 20th? Okay.
19th, yeah.
Why are they doing it now? Because they don't care. They're not afraid of U.S.
Yeah.
They're not sitting there saying, oh, the sanctions you have on Iran, let us not do it because Biden's going to come after us. They're saying, dude, we're going to do the deal, and there's nothing U.S. or Biden's going to do about it.
Yeah,
Here we go.
And their first
But
meeting.
I may be wrong.
This deal has been in the works for a while now. It's not like it just came about.
Yeah, but it just got done now.
right.
Okay.
Okay, I
yeah,
agree with you
got
on
done
that.
now. $400 billion deal is getting done now. So now you're seeing the deal getting done publicly.
How much was U.S. going to pay Iran to part of the nuclear deal? 100 billion?
150. It was $150 million. $150 billion deal.
So this is 3x that, give or take.
Here, I'll throw a couple things out at you. When I look at these numbers from the story, everybody looks at $400 billion and think that's unbelievable. But if you amortize that over 25 years, it's not that much. 25 years, though, that they have them under their thumb is unbelievable. And that's what China does. And when I saw that data that you put up over there, and I saw Mexico list China as a 26% their number one ally, I had no idea they even thought of China as even a remote
They've
ally.
invested in Mexico.
Oh, exactly, and that is what China does. That's their diplomacy. They throw all kinds of money into countries, they build up their infrastructure, and then they own them. I mean, could you imagine if China had a huge presence in Mexico? That is a very, very big problem for the United States. And here's my question when you see all this, and you hear Iran, you hear China, you hear all these threats and all the scary talk about it, but what do you guys think is the end game for a China, for an Iran? It's economic dominance, isn't it? Not so much Iran, but for China. They want to be the number one economy. This isn't a warfare type thing where they want to come in and take over this country, I don't think. Isn't it where they're just trying to become the most dominant country on the planet, no questions asked?
So think about it this way. Who has an advantage? The person that's dominating right now or the most ambitious person behind closed doors that's monitoring how you dominated for the last 50 years for me to study all the right, wrong, and the mistakes you made?
Exactly what China's doing.
Who is got the edge? China does. And China is exploiting that edge that they've had, watching exactly what U.S. has done, and look at them now, okay? And by the way, this isn't just about made in China 2025. We're going to be the largest, most powerful regime in the world. This is influence, control, and it's long-term. It is not short-term. And if they do take over, they're going to be imposing. Think about it this way. You know how they said if Germany would have won, everybody in the world would have been speaking what language? German, right? Oh, Hitler would have won it, German, everybody would have been speaking German, right? Okay, well, we know what happened. We all speak what?
English.
British, English, whatever you want to call it, we speak English, right? Okay. But what else has U.S. imposed to people around the world? Hey, Mr. Gorbachev, please tear down that wall. You know, hey, what you guys need, communism, Yugoslavia, you need capitalism. Hey, China, what you guys need to do is you need to let your people own business and be capitalists. Hey, Gorbachev, the problem that you have in your country is everybody drives the same car, everybody drives the same clothes. Let your people compete. So these people say, well, it's a great idea. We're gonna take capitalism on. But guess what China's going to do now? They're going to go impose their philosophies. And what's one of their philosophies? Silencing you. Silencing you. Their philosophies is no philosophies. Their philosophy is our way or the highway. So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.